All right, we are three dudes in a football. We're back talking about the Week 14 action of the NFL. I'm Adam,
Miles.
Mike.
and we are going to get right into it by talking about Baltimore and Cleveland. What a great finish! That really it pretty much ended on a safety.
Yeah.
Which, that is what it is. But dude, I really, y'all were talking. I heard y'all talking before we went on. Cleveland had it, man. They had it, and they scored. They scored with too much time left, as Mike was saying earlier. And Lamar Jackson. I mean, all right. So when did Lamar have to go take a shit? When did that happen? I didn't watch the game.
Oh no!
No, I didn't get to watch it, dude. I didn't get to watch it. I apologize. I know.
That's better.
He swears that he did not take a shit. He swears that he had cramps, and some of it might have been related to his COVID he just got over, possibly. But man, that guy was doing the doo-doo walk into the bathroom, in the locker room, and they had it on camera. Him kind of doing, and instantly, I mean, anybody who sees it's like, oh, I've been there before. I get it.
Yeah. Everybody knows that walk. Everybody knows that walk.
Well,
he missed some time.
That I tell you what, that safety, as I guess with the first 2 or 3 laterals, I thought, wait a second, there's enough space on this field where they might be able to do this. There was like a half a second where I thought, holy shit, because the players were spread so far apart that I thought maybe, just maybe, because the game had already been so crazy up to that point. Why not? So, but it was that was crazy to see. But I tell you what, I don't know if it would have went differently if Lamar was in the game the whole time. That's debatable. But I was telling Mike that pass from McSorley to Snead to set him up in good field position. I mean, that was huge. I mean, he is not getting enough credit for that, I don't think, because
he came in the game and he looked really. For a guy who's really been sitting all season long and never had a prayer to get in the game, he came in and he rolled out some decent plays. I mean, he didn't do a lot of negative plays, and they had a chance to convert. There was the third down, I think he did convert, and then I think he got hurt on a third down, and then Lamar came in on the fourth down, which was the Hollywood Brown, 40-yard pass or what have you. But he looked okay.
Yeah, I mean, the one time that they had him as a quarter, they tried to make him do a Lamar play and keep the ball. Was that when he got hurt? When he kept the ball and ran, and it was terrible. Oh, it looked bad.
I don't understand him running. He doesn't strike me as a runner.
No.
So for them to run the Lamar Jackson offense is kind of like putting Jerry Lorenzen in the game, trying to do some Steve Young shit. Like that's just not. No, it's not going to work.
Look good. It didn't look good, and it didn't work. So, but I mean, I don't know, man. Lamar Jackson. You've got Tim Tebow, who goes 7 for 12 for 80 yards and looks like shit. And then here we have Lamar Jackson, who can do it, but then he can run with his legs and get 2 or 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, as long as you can run the ball and get 2 or 3 touchdowns, I guess it doesn't matter how many pass yards you get anymore. I don't know. We keep saying that they're going to get him figured out, but I mean.
It's only a year and a half. We're going on his 3rd year, are we not?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, regardless of what happens, dude, whether they figure him out or not, which they will, I'm convinced they will. His body cannot handle it. You cannot play quarterback that style in today's NFL and expect to have any kind of length in your career. It's just not feasible.
No.
Well, and you're hitching to a wagon that's going to break down at some point. And, I mean, because of how you have to run an offense with a supremely mobile quarterback, a guy like Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick, RG3 when he first came in the league, those are, some that pop up to everybody. But there are several others that people try to tie this, run option sort of RPO type stuff in there. And that guy gets hurt. Well, now you got to change the offense for the backup quarterback because you don't ever have 2 of them. You never have 2 guys that are that athletic. So by default, when guy A gets hurt, as you said, because it always does happen, it's at the worst time, then you have to retool the whole offense. I mean, you can go back to the 90s, man. Do you guys remember the Eagles teams with Reggie White and Jerome Brown and, it was like early 90s. They were unbelievable defense. Buddy Ryan was coordinator. And they had this 1 or 2 season window where everybody's like, they're going to go win the Super Bowl. It was like right after the 49ers dynasty, it kind of tailed off. Okay. So Randall Cunningham, same type player at that point in time, gets hurt first week. I mean, there's like 5 or 6 Hall of Famers on those Eagles teams, and they couldn't win 9 games. I mean, it just you hitch too much to a guy and he breaks down and the whole team goes to shit. And it's a lost season. So at some point, I do expect this to happen to Baltimore.
Well, I got one thing to say about running quarterbacks. All right, now this may not be the perfect example, but Josh Allen has been in the league for 3 years now, as well as Lamar, and in that time, he hasn't had the amazing amount of yards, but he's had several running touchdowns as a quarterback. But he has improved his accuracy from dead last to like up in the top 5. Now, why can Lamar Jackson not do that? I don't think it's a skill thing. I think they don't have the appropriate quarterback coach or something. I feel like he is. I feel like maybe his personality seems like that he would be open to changing mechanics and learning things. Yep. Maybe I'm wrong in saying that, but why is that? Why is his improvement in pass? Because his passes looked like shit the other night, except for the one to Marquise Brown. I mean, they could have had 2 or 3 more touchdowns had he connected with the receivers that were wide open, and he just threw it 10 or 15 yards over their head. So, I mean, why are they not putting more time and effort into changing these mechanics on this guy to get him to do better, like a Josh Allen?
Great question.
I don't know the answer.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but all right, so Robert Griffin III, is he injured? Is that why he didn't come in?
Yeah, he got hurt. He played the Steelers game, and like somewhere halfway through, I think he went down. Yeah.
Was it an ankle injury? Because
I can't remember what it was. Might have been ankle.
Well, McSorley supposedly he injured his knee against Cleveland, and his status is uncertain. So who the fuck is going to be the backup when he has to go take shit?
Well, ask Denver what to do in that situation.
Yeah, well, you definitely needed a good number 2. You definitely got to have a good number 2. So, all right. So, where does that put Baltimore? What's their record now? 11-5? No. What about 11-3? No.
8-5.
Is it 8-5?
Yeah.
They're kind of a driver's seat for the wild card now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Pittsburgh. I think I read something that knocked Las Vegas just about out of it. Las Vegas is not mathematically eliminated, but I think this next week they could be. And Vegas is kind of like your number 7, number 18, in the running right now. So basically, this is going to put the Ravens in the playoffs, unless they start losing.
Right, which is possible. Which I'm hoping is going to happen to Pittsburgh because they just got their ass handed to by Buffalo. And just like I said last week, dude, this is the beginning of the end of Pittsburgh this year, dude. They're going to be a wild card. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, it's possible.
It's possible, but. So who do they have left? I know they got Cincinnati and Cleveland. Do they have Baltimore as well? Is that who this week is?
They played Baltimore twice already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's Colts. Colts. Browns.
The Colts, Bengals, and Browns.
Yep.
I think they're going to lose. I think they're going to lose to Cleveland. I think Cleveland's gotten too good over the course of the year, and I think Steelers are going the other way. But I think Indianapolis is enough of a team that they can knock them around. And if you take a team that went from 11-0 to 3 straight losses, that's uncharted territory. I don't know if that's just going to finish them off right there. It's a lot of bad momentum.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And, they have no running game. I believe Connor's supposed to be back this week. No, he's not?
I think he played a little bit last week. I don't think he did anything. He had like 10 carries for 18 yards or something. He was really not a factor.
Right. Well,
they went, and the Bills' defense has been kind of on the downslide, really. I mean, they haven't been the greatest. I mean, they started out strong, but their offense is going up, and their defense is kind of leveled out a little bit, I feel like. So I was kind of surprised to see them manhandle the Steelers the way they did.
They're coming off of, their bye was just 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I believe so. I believe they just had a bye just a couple of weeks ago. So, I mean, they're pretty well rested, and they haven't – on defense, they haven't had as many injuries as the average team has. Have they?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
No, they've been relatively decent. I mean, they're consistent. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Right. About middle of the pack, I imagine.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Buffalo's really just been kind of the Josh Allen show.
Yes.
I mean, they've got a good supporting cast, but not great. But Josh Allen improving to the level that he has this year, just playing the quarterback position, has really carried them as far as they've gone. You look at the Bills from when they played the Titans this year and got throttled, and how they looked, the other day. It's a totally different team. And Allen, I put Allen in the top 5 right now. Of all the quarterbacks in the league, I think he's on a hot streak. He could continue to roll with us through the rest of the playoffs, kind of getting hot at the right time and do like one of these Joe Flacco runs, and just kind of smoke everybody in the playoffs. Very possible. I mean, Kansas City's had some off games. Pittsburgh, we've already talked about them. And anybody else that they face in the playoffs, even the Titans, I mean, they don't show up every week. So, I mean, the Bills could be a lookout for these guys' team.
I think the Colts are the lookout for these guys' team, dude. I'm looking at their the rest of their schedule. They could very easily go the rest of the year without losing a game.
Nah, fuck them.
Oh, no, dude, I don't know. I think you're writing them off too fast, man.
Hey, one more thing about the Bills.
I've been talking about them the whole year. Go ahead, Miles. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, we cannot go talk about the Bills without mentioning Stephon Diggs. I mean, he's having a career year.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. They do not have the record they have if it's not for Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Josh Allen would not have the yards he has if it was not for Stephon Diggs.
No, because they've got no running game really.
No, Josh Allen is their running game.
Yes.
Which is weird. They've got guys that can play. They got guys that have had stats from years past, and it's not like 5 years ago. It was like last year. It's weird.
Yeah,
it is weird.
I agree. I don't know why they don't lean heavier on it from time to time, but it's not in the game plan ever.
Should have never got rid of Frank Gore.
The old man.
That was the deciding factor. That was the tipping point. So I'll look at the Colts. All right, so they got the Texans next week, which the Texans are looking like hammered shit lately, man. They're looking terrible.
Yeah.
So, they just beat them the week before last. But anyway, so they're playing them again. So they should. Then the week after that is when they have the Steelers. They go to Pittsburgh to face the Steelers. That's going to be a match. That's going to be a game.
Maybe. I mean,
it better be. If the Steelers won in,
they looked flat as shit against Buffalo. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know, but I'm with you.
I think they've looked flat all year.
True. I mean,
they've looked flat all year. All they've had is defense, man. That's all. I mean, I know that Ben Roethlisberger is in like the top 5 for touchdowns. At least he was a couple of weeks ago. I haven't really checked on it lately.
Yes.
But it's
it's not really accurately reflecting the game. It's not necessarily garbage yards. Yeah, he's throwing it a lot.
Yeah, he's absolutely throwing it a lot. But, he's only getting – I think he averages like 4 yards, 3.6 or something like that per, completion. But who else was doing that too, which I want to touch on. Matter of fact, we can touch on it right now, was Drew Brees was like that at the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. All of his passes were very short. He couldn't throw the long ball, but he never really has. So it shouldn't have been anything new. However, he lost his one threat who's it?
Thomas.
Michael Thomas. And, they just got their winning streak broke. They were on a 9-game winning streak, the Saints were.
Mm-hmm.
8 of them with Taysom Hill, but they just got it snapped by a rookie quarterback with the name of Jalen Hurts. I did watch some of that game.
Yeah.
That was, dude, it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was a running quarterback. They couldn't figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. And, dude, Sanders had a hell of a game. It opened it up so much more because all you got to do with Carson Wentz is get some pressure on him, and his ass was folding.
Yes.
Dude, you get pressure on Hurts, he's going to take off, and he's going to burn you with his feet.
Yep.
Right. Yep. So there's nothing that he did that Carson Wentz shouldn't have been able to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why they've been looking at these two guys all year long in practice privately and been like, well, at some point Carson's got to figure it out because he's looking at number 2, sitting over here. There's my number 2 reference again. He's looking at him over there doing all these things and being successful in practice, but he just never did. Carson Wentz just fell apart. He became this guy that had to hold the ball way longer than, there was no indication of him holding the ball and something good happening. Any of the times that he did, sacks, fumbles, interceptions. Jalen Hurts a quick decision guy, and I think that's the best plan for a young quarterback. But specifically his skill set, because they start to get pressure on him. He's got the one read and he runs, or he's got one check down and a deep guy. And let's be honest, man. He made some really good throws this last week.
He made some great throws, dude. He made some great throws. He made some great decisions.
Yep.
He made some really good decisions.
He's he's got a high emotional IQ, man. To be the starter who has won at Alabama, to get benched and stay there and then decide to move on. I mean, that's a high emotional IQ. The guy can't be put down and he doesn't play with fear. It's the exact opposite of what Carson Wentz is.
Right. See, and I think that's there. I think you hit it right there, Miles. I think Carson Wentz, whatever the fuck his name is, I think his problem is mental.
Yes.
I think the problem with his game right now, the problem is not physical. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to do it. It's just I don't know if he's scared, that's an intense word. I don't really mean scared. I think that's too much. But I don't know
if it is, man, because I look at him and I see him like an Eli Manning in his last 2 or 3 years. It's kind of the way he looks like in the eye, like not necessarily in the play, because Eli could still throw the ball from time to time, but he just has this fear, man. You can smell it on the guy.
Maybe that is what it is. Maybe he is just scared. I mean, dude, he's been hurt. He had one good year, which he was an MVP. They talked about him being MVP that year when the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl. There was talk of him halfway through the season of being the MVP. And, dude, we have not seen anything close to that since then.
It's 100% mental. It's 100% mental because he doesn't want to make the mistakes. So he holds the ball longer rather than try to force it into traffic. And then he winds up making a mistake by default because at a certain point, once you hold the ball in the NFL up to about 3 seconds, unless you have the best line of protection, and you only get that once, twice a game if you're lucky, right? Then only bad things are going to happen. You've got to have a quick decision and a quick trigger. Marcus Mariota is no longer a starting quarterback because he started doing the exact same thing Carson Wentz is doing, and they recognized it and got him out of town. And that's basically the end of his career. I don't think that he's ever going to get fixed because he spent so long going into that sort of, that comatose state where I have to be safe. So his winning percentage is down, his completion percentage is up, and he gets killed every game. It's the same thing with Wentz. But I think if they stick with Hurts, if they really commit to him, there's no guarantee because of the amount of money that they're sucking on Wentz's contract. There's no guarantee that they're going to stick with him. They really ought to. The future is with that guy. It's not going to be with Carson Wentz. And even if Carson Wentz goes on to be a great player, it's still possible. It's going to be somewhere else. It's over in Philadelphia.
Yes.
So is Mariota even still playing?
Yeah,
is he on the roster?
Derek Carr's water.
Really?
Oh,
that's surprising.
He was on IR for a few weeks too, just to.
Wasn't.
I think I'd rather have Matt Schaub than him.
I think Matt Schaub's still playing.
He's playing for Atlanta.
Wow.
Dude, he might be. Look this up.
So, with the Eagles playing, do you think, dude, they could win their division?
He's playing for the Falcons.
He's playing for the Falcons? I'm surprised they haven't started him.
That's where his career started. Sorry.
Because their coach is gone next year talking about the Falcons. He's gone. And now there's talk. You should know all about this, Mike. This is your neck of the woods.
My team.
Yeah, well, that's the team where you live. But so is everybody calling for Matt Ryan to lose his job too?
They're not calling for it. I think people are realistic here. I'm surrounded by people who are like fanatic Falcons fans, and they're all just realistic. They know that they got to start over. That you really only get a few years once you build the type of team that has a superstar quarterback, superstar receiver. They had what's his name, Freeman, running back. He has some pieces on offense, decent defense.
Hey, Michael Turner, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
Michael Turner.
They had a lot of good players at one time, and then you had to start paying them. So as you start paying these guys, other guys fall off. And now you hit this point where your salary cap is so bloated and now nobody's winning and they're all leaving town. Matt Ryan is going to be too expensive next year for, what is he, 33, 34? Best years are behind him. They're going to have to get somebody else to start over or at least bring somebody in to push him. And then you'll still only get like maximum one more year out of him. So you're starting a complete rebuild there.
Yep.
Maybe Cam Newton goes there next year.
I feel like he's done, man.
Yeah.
I stand by that from the time that he did that, the whole shoulder issue he went through. I feel like he's never really been back from that.
No,
I was completely wrong.
Yeah, no. We all wanted him to be back.
Sure.
We talked about at the beginning of the season, dude. Yeah. We all wanted him to have a good year. We wanted him to blow shit up in the Patriots, but yeah, no, he's
done.
Yeah, and yes. I don't know where
I was stumping last year. I was like, how in the hell can they get rid of him and then get rid of Rivera? Rivera, I was right about. He's actually doing really well in Washington now that he's kind of got a little momentum behind him. Yeah. Cam Newton, apparently what he was early last year is what he's going to be. Yep. That's really sad.
It is.
Yeah.
Sucks.
I agree.
Running quarterback, though, I mean, your life expectancy is not that long.
But I will say, out of all the running quarterbacks that I've experienced as far as being able to watch, because Michael Vick was really the first one I ever got to watch. Yeah. I wasn't really into Randall Cunningham. I wasn't into football at that time. But, dude, Cam Newton, he was more of a pocket passer than the average rushing quarterback.
Yeah, especially early on. His first couple of years, he had like 4,000 yards passing a couple of times.
Yeah.
The 2015 season, he was phenomenal, both air and ground.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. I mean, it depends on what you want. If you want to compare him to a Steve Young, then no. But if you compare him to a Michael Vick, then yeah. I think. Is that fair? I mean, I can't say that I go back that far, but I know. Uh-oh.
What happened?
I can't hear Mike.
I can't either. Mike,
you're muted.
You're muted. Mike. Yeah. Did I mute him?
I don't know. Did you?
Holy shit. No, I didn't fucking mute him. No. He's got his own. He's muted himself somehow.
There's a little symbol there. There you
are. I know. There you are.
Say something. Oh.
No, I hear the hum. You're there.
I don't know what the hell's going on with my stuff.
There you are.
See, now you know what I've been. Yeah, now you know what I've been dealing with. That's exactly the kind of shit that happened to me. Can you hear us? I don't think you can hear us.
I can't hear shit.
I can hear you just fine. Well, I can't. I'm sitting here waving and my camera's not working.
Jeez, guys, we really need to get our act together if we're going to start charging for ad revenue.
We're already charging for ad revenue. What are you talking about?
Jeez.
Oh, this is great. Yeah.
Well, anyhow, about him, yes, he's done. Cameron.
I absolutely agree.
But hey, what sucks? You said Philadelphia might win their division, man. What sucks is, man, that with Colt McCoy, the Giants were on the upslide, man.
No shit.
Daniel Jones comes in and just bucks them.
Oh well, dude, he's down for this week, dude. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play. We're talking
I would have benched his ass.
Daniel Jones there, Mike. Welcome back, buddy.
Hey.
What the hell happened?
I don't know.
You muted your. See, that's what happened to me a couple of times. All of a sudden, when my camera would go out, so would my mic, and it would cut it off.
Big box that covered you guys up, and it's like, click this X, and it's like, oh fuck you, you're muted. And so I see Miles laughing at me. I'm talking, and he's just like, it was wonderful.
I was trying to communicate with my hands, but it wasn't working.
That's better than what I was doing. Apparently.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, Daniel Jones. I'm pretty sure there's something wrong with him. He's hurt or something.
Hey, that'd be the best thing that happened in New York because they looked okay with the Colt McCoy. I mean, I would have. They won like 3 or 4 games with him, I think, or something. Maybe 2 or 3 it was, something like that. They were on the upswing and the slide of things, climbing up the mountain, and now they just fell down on the elevator really quickly.
Yep, steady veteran. That's what they need. It's the team. If they're going to compete for the division, if now all of a sudden this becomes a serious season for the Giants, then they need the steady veteran guy to win out, and then they can keep Jones for next year because he's not far enough along to carry this team. So I agree.
Nope.
Yeah, he's got a low ankle sprain.
Good for them. I think that would be the best thing for them, is because he looked. God, I mean, like, man, he just is bad. He's just bad. Like, I don't get it.
And this is in addition to the right hamstring strain that limited his ability to run, resulting in 6 sacks in the 26-7 loss and forced him to miss the previous week's game.
Well, somehow his running ability is what he's got. I think his biggest plays this year have come with his legs.
And that's
the
problem.
He was that athletic a guy.
Because
obviously he's not. Obviously he's not.
So bizarre, man. That one's really just blows my mind. Like, I don't get it. How do you continue to be a starter? What is this? This is third year?
Is it?
It's not his first.
No, I thought it was.
Last year was last year, I think, right?
No, year before that.
Year before.
Oh, okay. So this is third year.
Yes. How does that happen? How do you do that? 3 years in a row, start this guy when he's never shown any sign of anything.
Yeah, that's Dave Gettleman. And I think they got rid of Gettleman this year, like sometime during the season, didn't they?
I don't know if he's kept his job or not. I don't know.
I think they got rid of him. But yeah, Dave Gettleman he's stubborn as a mule. And he did this in Carolina too with a couple of guys. Not necessarily quarterbacks, but players that just you should have got rid of them. And it's one thing to make a bad draft pick. Everybody does it, except for Baltimore. That's the only team I can see that never drafts anybody wrong in the first round.
No shit. First 2 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, they kill it. Ever since the 90s, man, they've been taking guys left and right that can play all the way through the draft. But everybody makes bad draft picks. You just have to acknowledge that you made one and then get rid of him before it just makes the team worse for a couple of years. New England's been good at, the other side of that where they've, gotten rid of guys a year early. But, man, no, Jones, they should have seen all they needed to see last year and then brought in somebody to compete with him. Colt McCoy's not a guy that's going to push to start. He's a guy that can do okay if he needed to come into the game. He's better than some of the other backups in the league. But they needed a guy like of the caliber of what they wanted Daniel Jones to be and then bring him in and try to push him. That's the only way this situation could have gotten any better. And now they got to do that next year with a team that's ready to win,
I feel like a Joe Flacco would have been a good backup for a Daniel Jones if they, you know what I mean?
Yes.
That would have made more sense.
Yeah.
The style of play makes more sense than we're out there in New York.
Speaking of draft picks, man, did anybody see that second overall defensive end on Washington this week tear apart their game? I mean, he was the disruptor. Oh, my word. Like
he's good.
2 forced fumbles and like an interception for a touchdown or some shit and like 20 tackles. It was insane. And I don't really keep up with defensive stats that much, but this guy just went off.
Who are you talking about? Chase Young?
Yes.
Chase Young.
Yeah. Second overall pick.
Yeah. Bad.
Yeah, he is. And dude, he's lifted that team up. He's been such a leader on that team, according to the coaches and stuff. He just came in that locker room and took over in a very positive way.
Oh yeah, good for them, man. They got that shitty owner, and they named themselves a football team for Christ's sake. I mean, I'm not. Riviera had cancer. For Christ's sake, let us something good happen to him.
Yeah, and Alex Smith, dude, he got hurt, but he's supposed to be able to make it this coming up week. So, and he's been playing good. He's involved the whole team, That really made a huge difference. And we all knew they had an issue at quarterback coming into it. But no one knew if Alex Smith was going to be healthy or if he was even healthy to play.
No, 17 surgeries, I would guess not.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's a pretty good assumption. It's just a pretty safe bet to. So, playoffs.
They're going to happen.
Yeah, obviously.
I think so.
That's the rumor. If they were to end today, the NFC would have Packers and the Saints in the number 1 and 2 spots. Rams would be the 3rd seed, and Washington football team would be in it. And so there are 3 wild card teams, which these are some hella wild card teams. Stop it. Oh, my God, really? Sorry. My dog thought it was a great time to bring a squeaky toy up to me. Seattle Seahawks, which I think is another team that's on their way down again, and then the Buccaneers. Who knows? Who cares? and the Cardinals.
Yep.
Now, the Cardinals, dude, I don't know about them. I really don't. It's hard for me to have an opinion on them because they have signs of greatness.
Yes.
And then they just have times of like, what's going on? Now, like Buffalo was last year in the playoffs.
Yes. I think that's a sign of maturity or lack of. I feel like, that they just need the coach is new relatively. The quarterback is relatively new. The team just hasn't had enough time to settle in, I don't feel like. That's my opinion.
I agree. Yeah, I think they're overachieving this year. I don't think they're really, I was saying 3 or 4 weeks ago they're one of the 5 best teams in the league, and like the day after I said that, they started really sort of dwindling.
Yep.
And they've got good players, but I think they're probably just overachieving. I think they're a year away from really contending. I mean, you got San Francisco, who is like a walking infirmary. Yeah. They've got an entire roster that looks like almost a bad year in the Pro Bowl. That's on injured reserve, and they're only like a game or 2 ahead of them in their division. So, Arizona didn't scare me. They're going to probably beat someone they should in the last few games, but beyond that, they're not going to the playoffs. I think the Seahawks will get in as a wild card. I think you got the Buccaneers going to get in probably as a wild card just based on the record they have now.
Yeah,
and then you got to give somebody else one. It's looking like Minnesota or Chicago.
You don't think Arizona?
You think Arizona?
Dude, Arizona's 7-6, and the Vikings at 6-7, and they're ascending. They're on a streak.
Yeah,
and then they were Bears at 6-7 now. But the Bears are on a little.
The Vikings are underachieving if the Cardinals are overachieving. You know what I mean? They how they are 6-7 is beyond me. I expected a lot more out of them.
Everybody has.
It's poor. They just now started learning how to win games. If they hadn't started out like 0-4 or whatever it was, they'd be okay. But they kind of screwed their season back in August.
Yeah, dude. When you come out that slow out of the gate in the shortest professional season of any sport, every game counts in football. Yeah. That's what I love about the football season. Every game is important.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. I wish they would cut other like the NBA. If it was only 40 games, could you imagine how much better that would be? Like exposed to the
they start resting guys in the first week of the fucking season.
I know. Can you imagine buying tickets to go see LeBron James just to find out he's being fucking rested?
Oh yeah. They can't do that now.
If you buy those tickets for Hawks tickets, right? My brother had season tickets last year, which is the only way I found this out. I would have never known. But the games like where the Lakers are coming to town or the Rockets or whatever the preemptive teams are, premier teams, sorry, they come to town, the ticket skyrockets like 7 times.
Yep.
It's worth $100 ticket is $700 for the exact same seat for the Lakers coming to town.
Yep.
So yes, if the Lakers come to town and LeBron's sitting, I would throw shit.
I'd
be upset.
It's ridiculous.
I thought they tried to because when what's his dude that went from Toronto to the Clippers.
Kawhi.
Yes. He did it last year before all this COVID, and they tried to do something about it. I mean, everyone bitched about it, and I wanted to say they tried. They had to be on their injury report like a certain amount of time beforehand.
Yeah.
And it has to be a legit doctor injury or some shit.
It's bullshit because I love basketball, man. But as far as the regular season, I don't give a shit because they don't give a shit.
No, I don't
give a shit. The same teams are going to be there at the end of the year, plus or minus whatever the number 8 seed is. They're going to lose in the first round. And then you have the same teams you had in the playoff last year, plus or minus one team that got in.
But that's good basketball. Then
it is good basketball, and it's almost like a season in and of itself that starts in April or whatever, because the playoffs are fucking 3 months of the year.
Yeah.
But cut off the rest of it.
Yep.
So that's the NFC. Now the AFC right now is the top 2 seeds with the lead, which I'm happy about. Chiefs over the Steelers, which I still think the Steelers are going down further. Yeah. Bills in at number 3 and Titans in at 4, and then the wild cards are the Browns at 9-4, Colts at 9-4, and the Dolphins at 8-5. And the Dolphins.
Yeah.
No one has said shit about the Dolphins this year.
I have.
You have. I'll give you that.
I have, because I think Tua is a winner. I told you this.
Yes, you did. You did, and he is playing. He is starting.
Yes, and he's doing okay. But
he's doing good. And they almost pulled it out against Kansas City.
Yes, that game was really
good.
A
game. That was a good game.
Was.
Yes.
They prove they can play with anybody. I think they'll be there. I think you called it.
Yep. And then on the bubble at 8-5 are the Ravens, and then Raiders 7-6, and the Patriots and Broncos.
Patriots are out.
Well, they'll all get eliminated pretty much next week. Here's the teams that are absolutely eliminated, and there's only 6 of them, surprisingly: the Jets, the Jaguars, the Bengals, the Falcons, the Chargers, and the Texans. So,
yep.
All teams not even worth really mentioning. Except for maybe Jacksonville, who really just gave Derrick Henry such a huge push to get 2,000 fucking yards this season, which I hope he does, dude. He only has to average 150 yards for the next 3 games. Before this past game, he had to average 170. Well, he got over 200 yards in the rushing against Jacksonville this past weekend. They whooped the shit out of him. They destroyed. And you know what?
The Dogs too. They really kind of pulled off the gas in the fourth quarter.
Well, in the fourth quarter, they put Minshew in, so that made me happy.
Yeah. Hey, the winning formula is to give Henry the ball 25 plus times. There you go. You're done.
I agree. And he can get 2,000 yards. I don't think he will. Just doesn't feel like a 2,000-yard season this year. It feels like he was better last year.
Yeah.
But I think it could be more last year because he was better in the second half of the season. Like, he was spectacular. The last 2 seasons, actually, he's been unbelievable in the second half. This is really the first time he's shown up big since 3 or 4 weeks ago. So last year at this time, I mean, he was just trucking through everybody. Literally trucking through everybody. If he really turns it up, man, I mean, definitely the Titans can finish out. I mean, they could still get to 12-4, and it depends on Derrick Henry. If he doesn't have a good game, even though they've got people that can play behind him, and Tannehill is prone for a good outing once in a while.
Yep.
I mean, it's they go as far as Derrick Henry's going to take them, like you said, Miles. I mean, that's it. You can look at the stat sheet; it matches.
I want to say that Derrick Henry has only had 2 games where he didn't break 100.
That sounds about right. Sounds about right. And I tell you what, to get to 2,000, the only thing they have standing in his way is the Packers, man, because that's not going to be a run. That's just the game match there is not. Tannehill's going to have to show up for the Packers game. But against the Lions and the Texans, I mean, there's no reason why he can't throw another couple 100-yard games in there.
Well, dude, the Packers' run defense is shit.
But I'm just saying it's game script, man. When you got Rodgers throwing 3 or 4 touchdowns, it's going to.
And we all know how our secondary is.
Exactly.
Which is terrible.
No, they can be ran on, but their offense is too powerful to keep a running game going. I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully, I want to see Henry break too. But I agree with Mike and you. I mean, I feel like I don't know. I haven't looked at the stats, but I feel like up until recently has really started to show, and that's all that counts, though. Shit. I mean, they've won, so I mean, I would rather see strength at the end than falling out and fledgling.
Well, the other side of this too is the fact that their offensive line's had a lot of injuries this year, and when you shuffle a lot of pieces on the line, it takes a while for the guys to come in to really gel and communicate. And the last couple times, I know Jacksonville is not like a great defensive team by any stretch, but against Jacksonville,
watch your mouth, damn it.
Hey, man, look, just giving it to you straight. I can't lie to the guys in the audience. Whatever, we appreciate it. No, all 84 cents. But they're starting to gel. The receivers are blocking. The tight ends are blocking. They've got like a good group in there that's actually opening holes for him. And there's a couple times in this game last week that he didn't have to do much. I mean, the hole was there when he got there. And then once he picks up speed, no one's really going to tackle him. They're just going to make it look like it.
It's crazy, man, because he's got that. Who was it? It was the Eric Dickerson, that straight up running style.
That's the wonder Dickerson lived, man.
It's funny, man. It looks funny, but it's just he hauls ass and he's got that back straight as it can be.
Yeah, the difference between him and Dickerson would run 60 yards, get clothesline, and drop the ball. Right. And that's why they didn't win with him. But Derrick Henry's too big, And so he gets 60 yards, and by that point, he's going too damn fast that no one's going to stop him. If
It's
you
like
hit it at that point, he's going to go another 10 yards with you.
Yes.
Well, he all right. So when he finished the season last year, he had 1,540 yards. Right. Right now, he's got 1,532 yards.
Okay. Well,
sneaky good year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Foot and mouth.
Well, there be no math.
But I mean, and he won that rushing championship or the rushing title last year on the very last play that he ran in the regular season, on that very last run that he got. Yeah. So
was that based on touchdowns more so than yardage? I guess.
No, it was based more on yardage.
Huh. And he only got 1,500 yards. Well, I mean that's a lot, but
only.
Yeah.
Well, obviously he got the most. Nick Chubb's right behind him.
Yeah.
So the Tennessee Titans, they have Detroit this week, and I'm pretty sure Matthew Stafford, he's going to be out from what I understand. So.
Well, poor Detroit.
Well,
I mean,
I say
10
wins for the first time in 5 years. That won't be 9-7.
Yeah. I tell you what, on this last note here that I was looking at, I don't think that Mahomes is the clear pick for MVP, man.
All right, so who do you think?
I mean, what did he get? I think he had 3 interceptions against Miami.
Yes, he did.
That's not a good look. So
he still won.
That's what but they don't do wins and losses so much as they do personal stats for that, right? I don't know. I know
they're not supposed to do personal stats. I mean, they're not supposed to, but that's usually what gets you the wins, though.
Right.
Or excuse me, that's what gets you the title of MVP.
I guess. Right. I see what you're saying, but I'm saying if you've got 2 teams that are kind of both winning, and then you've got to compare the quarterbacks, then you have to go down to individual stats. And when you've got an Aaron Rodgers who I think has 3 or 4 interceptions all season, and Mahomes just had 3 in one game, then that's going to be heavily looked at.
Pretty sure Aaron Rodgers had a few against the Colts.
He might have in one game, but he doesn't have 3 or 4 all year.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, I think, is running away with it. And no one's really talking about it because he's been around a while, and it's sexier to talk about the younger guys that are, I mean, Mahomes and Russell Wilson and all these guys that are flashy and put up these big gaudy numbers, but they both have kind of hit a snag halfway through it. Rodgers has been really good all year. I mean, he's been consistently great all year. And he's got, to finish the season, they've got some cakewalk game. They got Carolina this week. So that could be another big game. Let's see. Who do they have? I'll just pull up Green Bay.
Titans after that.
Titans after that.
The Titans will be tough for them. And then they got the Bears. So, I mean.
The Bears could be tough for them, dude.
He owns the Bears.
They should.
They should, absolutely. Should. But I don't know, dude. I got a funny feeling about the Bears at the end of the season.
They put up 41 on them like a month ago, and it wasn't even that close.
It doesn't matter, dude. Jacksonville hung with Green Bay. If Jacksonville can hang with Green Bay, anybody can.
That's the weird, with Green Bay and Kansas City, all these people with good records have had some really off games like that, and I don't know how much concern needs to be raised over that.
I don't think much concern really needs to be raised simply because they still won those games at the end of the day.
True. That's all that matters, really. At the end of the day,
the 1 or 2 bad games in the season. It's if you can really kind of eke out 1 or 2 of those games, that's the difference between your 14-2 and your 11-5 kind of years, I guess. They're both still good seasons, but one of them is going to be take the first week off in the playoffs, and the other one got to play a wild card game.
Yeah.
Now, do you think if Derrick Henry gets 2,000 yards, he would have a better chance at getting MVP? No,
he's not going to get it. No, he may get the 2,000. He's not going to get the MVP. They won't do it.
No, man. If he gets 2,000 yards, they'll have to put him in the conversation. They'll have to, man, especially with the Titans going to the playoffs.
No, Chris Johnson, 2,000-yard season, he got Offensive Player of the Year. It's like kissing your sister. No one cares.
Yeah, but the Titans didn't go to the playoffs that year either.
It doesn't matter. But it's a boys' club, man, and the quarterback is the king. Period.
Yeah.
Right? Am I wrong?
Who was the last?
No, you're not
Peterson
wrong.
was the last 2,000 yard. I think he got the MVP that year, did he? In 2012, Peterson.
Oh, I don't know.
I think he did. Adrian Peterson, I think, got an MVP one year. And I Google. I'm sorry, I'm googling so much stuff on this today.
No, you're fine.
Prepared. Season.
There must have not been a very good quarterback year then for him to have gotten it, right? I mean, obviously.
It was a down year. Yeah, he was the MVP in 2012. That's the last non-quarterback to win it. And he was within 9 yards of breaking the all-time single-season record. And it was a close vote. So, no, I don't think Henry's going to get it.
Not at all.
I mean,
I wish he would because he deserves it.
Oh, me too.
Because the Titans would not be in the playoffs at all if Derrick Henry wasn't in the equation. There's no way they would have the success that they have had without Derrick Henry, which to me is what makes an MVP more of an MVP candidate. I feel the same way about Mahomes and Rodgers.
No, not about Mahomes, but Rodgers, I say. Because, I mean, I know.
Why do you say that about Mahomes, though?
Because he's the best player in the league, but he's also got so much talent around him, man. So much talent. And Aaron Rodgers doesn't even have that much talent around him. I mean, they could not be doing what they're doing without him. Same with Henry. I agree with you 100%.
I don't agree with you with Rodgers. Rodgers he's got two solid receivers. That's pretty much what Mahomes has, plus Kelsey. What else does Mahomes have? Don't give me that look, Mike. I mean, seriously, you can't depend on the receivers at Kansas City.
Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, Sammy Watkins. Don't laugh, Sammy Watkins.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing at Sammy Watkins because you can't trust him to be healthy.
No, I know, but it's a name. It's an option. He has that one good game every year. We talked about that. The guy that does kick returns, what's his name? McCall Hardman. Robinson. Yeah, there's 5. Now let's go running backs. Got Le'Veon Bell. Get the first round guy who I can't pronounce his name. He's got like 5 last names.
Le'Veon Bell. That doesn't count. You stop that.
It counts.
It does.
It doesn't.
He doesn't play
He
because they
hasn't
can't
shit.
get him on the starting lineup because there's so many goddamn people that can play on that team.
Yep. And they've got
agree.
coaching that is –
It's okay.
the coaching is superior too. I mean, everything about the coaching is superior to Green Bay. I'm not saying that they're bad, but there's just more experience there.
I'll give you the experience. Absolutely. I agree with you on the experience, but I don't know, dude. It's hard for me to say that if you take Rodgers out, I mean, I get it. The Green Bay doesn't have the record, but I'm sorry. If you take Mahomes out, I don't think Kansas City has the record they have.
I think Mahomes is the best player in the league, but I think that he is not necessarily the most valuable player to his team. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, and it makes sense that you're wrong. I mean, I get that.
I think that's the best way you could have said everything I was trying to say. Everything you said before is exactly right. I think that if Mahomes was put on another team, let's pick another team. If you put Mahomes on Jacksonville, did your hair raise up a little bit if you did that? No, if you put him on Jacksonville goes from 1-12 to like 10-2 instantly. But I don't think if you put Gardner Minshew into Kansas City that they automatically go 1-12.
No.
I think that Gardner Minshew could come in with that team in Kansas City, like you said, Miles, and he could win almost as many games. And it won't be as flashy. It will be a lot closer. But a lot of people could win with that Kansas City team right now.
Yep.
Okay.
They need the second receiver for Green Bay, Adam.
Oh, yeah, no. Lazard.
Oh.
They get kind of a turnstile of people that play number 2 receiver. See, I did it again. But, I mean, there's guys that can kind of fill in for Adams.
But there's no clear-cut number 2.
No, there hasn't been. There hasn't been.
It's like this Patriots thing where a lot of guys kind of, play that second spot and then go take like an hour off and come back and catch a ball. You can't get any of them on fantasy, you'll lose.
Yes. Those days, Edelman and Wes Welker days are long gone.
They have been long gone.
They have, and they won for me so many years.
Yeah. Oh, man, PPR league with Wes Welker, write it down.
Dominate.
It's over.
Valdez-Scantling.
And
That's it. See, these hyphenated names, they gotta
Pick one.
know.
Pick a
There's nothing
name.
I can do about it. It's their legal name, but Jesus, man.
No, I'm not a big fan of the multiple last names. It means just that's their last name.
I can't remember one name. Now I got to remember 2 names for one person. Now I got to remember 5 people's names, and they have 2 names each. That's like 12 names. I can't do that.
Just call them a law firm.
But see the problem that Packers have is their receivers have been hurt all year too, including Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
And when he was out, did they win? Wasn't he out for the 2 of their losses? They didn't have any kind of fucking passing game without Devontae Adams in there. So you can make it.
Does change their offense, yes.
Yes, he does.
Absolutely.
But like, what the fuck happens in Green Bay? Like, why is their stud running back not doing anything? Like, what? I
don't understand that. I mean, that's got to be a play calling thing there, dude.
It is. It's got to be. But having said that, in the past few games, Kansas City hasn't really run the ball that much either. So I don't know. Like, I guess it's just script that these coaches feel is necessary, for the game, for the matchup.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, you got to commit to running the ball. If you got guys that can do it, it's a mentality you got to build early on. And somebody said this week, I was listening to football, some podcasts earlier this week, and somebody mentioned that, sorry to not give credit, I can't remember who it was, but if you don't establish that mentality early on in training camp or the first week of the season, you can't just pick it up in December and just decide you're going to start running the ball.
Nope.
So now they can't do it. They're kind of locked into this scat back thing where they're just doing screen passes and stuff. I don't think Rodgers cares. He's always been like that. He's never had anybody that's ever really been able to 25 carries a game with him. You imagine how much better they would be if you had it, though.
I don't think he would like that, even.
Possibly.
I feel like he would feel like that's threatening his position to some degree.
He's got a little bit of an ego about him. Yeah.
Well, he's a quarterback. I mean, look at Tom Brady.
He's got more egos.
Yeah,
dude. He's a very sensitive guy.
Yeah. He's a little bitch.
He likes the Notebook.
Yep. Well, All right, do y'all have a game y'all are picking on this week? Anybody y'all want to?
I don't know if we're going to see anything better than last Monday, man. I really don't.
But it would be great if we did.
It would be.
Let's see. So Thursday night is the Chargers and the Raiders.
Nope.
Okay.
Chiefs Saints. That's it. Chiefs Saints is all I'm seeing.
Ooh, that'd be a good game.
That's a potential Super Bowl matchup right there.
Yep. That's the game of the week if you ask me.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm agreeing with you on that, definitely. Yes.
Then you got New England, Miami, which is kind of meh. And probably I think the Cleveland-New York game actually could be worth something because of what's on the line. I mean, you got to think, if Cleveland loses a game to New York's just about in the playoffs, and Cleveland's now kind of, dangling on the last rung of the ladder.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not really that much farther ahead than Baltimore that they could make a mistake. So, I mean, that could be an interesting game. It's a night game. I think it'll be fun to watch at least.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
I would like to say, as an honorable mention game would be Seattle at Washington.
I was looking at that too. I agree.
That's a noon game. There's a lot of stuff on the line with that too. Like I said, Washington's leading that division right now, but watch out for Philadelphia.
Yep. Yeah.
So
good old NFC least.
Hey, Eagles Cardinals might be fun just if you like to see running quarterbacks.
I don't really look at Kyler Murray that way that much. He's what? What's that look for, Miles?
Well, I know. I he's capable, I guess.
Absolutely, yes. I would put him more. Yeah, I would put him more along the lines of Josh Allen as far as the style goes. Kind of throw first, run second. Whereas to me, Lamar Jackson and people of his ilk are run first, pass second.
I don't know if Jalen Hurts is run first, throw second.
I don't think he is. No, I don't think he is.
Maybe that's not a fair assessment on my part.
No, I don't think he is. I think he's a throw first. I mean, that's a very broad stroke of the brush, too.
It is.
Call it like that, but
it's getting late.
It is. It is.
We got a lot of good games on. It's Christmas Day and then that Saturday, Sunday. That's going to be a lot of like almost early playoff games. So that'll make up for kind of the weak schedule this week. Like some of the games this week are sort of imbalanced. But the ones in next week, man, we're going to have a lot to talk about next week.
Rock and roll. It'll be Christmas Eve.
Oh, I guess I'll be doing it at your house, doing it with you at your house, Adam. Yeah, I can't do next week.
All right.
No, that's week.
You're talking about the week after that.
Yeah. Oh, I'll be here for that, right?
That's you'll be. Yeah, it's the 23rd.
Yes. The next week I'll be in Tennessee.
Yep. Mike, why don't you come up?
Probably will. We have the kids going to the in-laws tomorrow, but I'll be here. I got work up until I take off on the 23rd, and I'm off until the next Tuesday. I use some vacation days, so I might try to slide up that weekend. We'll see.
Oh, yeah.
Mike, with your house in town, did you have a house on Township at one point?
Township. No, but I was on Township a lot.
Where was the house that you had that was a party house? The basement was just crazy, and like I almost got a tattoo there from some dude I don't even know.
Oh, really? Oh man, yeah. That was it's not Township. It's Anchor Drive.
Y'all
want me in this broadcast before y'all start talking about?
I know you don't live there anymore now, but I remember going there. That was Adrenaline Theory days back in the.
That was.
Yeah. I got to thinking about that for some reason or another.
I got the tattoo I got from that house, and I know why and how it happened. So
well,
glad you kind of missed out on some of that.
Yeah, I almost got in the chair with that dude that was always tattooing people, but at the last minute, I was like, I don't think so.
Oh my god, dude, he absolutely scarred the piss out of me. Like it feels like those patches you put on like the biker jackets. That's what I got back here. I mean, dude, I can feel it through my shirt. That's how bad it was. Guys like sip beer.
That's terrible.
Sorry to gross everybody out, but whatever. That's what it is.
That's great though.
Bonus content.
That's funny. Matter of fact, my first tattoo was with Miles. We went to the fucking, pick it from the wall place and stick it on your arm.
Yeah. Well, I've got some shitty tattoos.
Yeah, that came from the ink gallery.
Yeah.
That was my first tattoo.
Me too.
That's a scary name, ink gallery.
Yeah.
A lot of bad things happen there.
When the owner didn't even have a tattoo.
Yeah, that's so weird. So weird.
It's like trusting a skinny chef.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be. There's no trust there.
All right,
guys. We'll see you next week. Appreciate it.
See you then.
Yeah.